All right, here we go. We're up and running. All right, guys. I am doing a little test broadcast here. I'm not sure if anybody's going to even see this or not. If you do, awesome. If I see any viewers on there, fantastic. If not, just want to see how the audio and the video are going to come through on this here. So what we got here today is I'm doing a little work on a Sunday. I have the video seems to be jumping around here, but we'll see how that works. It seems to only be when I move. So maybe that's something that I got to deal with here. But anyways, doing a little Civic here today and doing a little work for Wild Honda. And I'm going to go ahead and just live stream this. I think this back window, we'll see maybe what we might do here. But let's take a peek here. So what I'm about to do here is this rear window on this Civic, and it is quite dirty. So normally I would use a little uh, microfiber and some window cleaner to do this. But I am going to actually clean this the old-fashioned way with water, soap and water, so that I don't get my towel too disgustingly dirty. And what I'm going to do here is just share this little bit of work that I'm doing here today. Test out the video quality, test out the broadcast capabilities, see what we might have to offer in the live stream arena for your viewing pleasure, for your curiosity, right? Maybe you're out there and you, this is just going on to my Film Pro site, so we're talking about having maybe customers, potential customers that might bump into this, and or past customers, which is cool. Check it out. See what we're doing here at Film Pro, and watch this window get done. Pretty simple. So now this process here, I actually used this in the past. I did this for many years until I began to realize that, you know what, most of the time the windows aren't that dirty and they don't quite need to be, this process here doesn't need to be completed. A lot of times I can just use a microfiber and I can just wipe it down with some window cleaner and get the same results, and a lot faster, a lot more efficient. So I don't know if I made this broadcast. I'm not sure if I made this public or not, so I don't know. There's no viewers, so I'm assuming not. But it's cool, man. What we're going to do is we're just going to run through, see what the capabilities are. I'm all over the place. I am over here getting my piece of film that I'm going to use for this car off the plotter. So bear with me here for a moment. Um, Once I get this film ready to go, we will be able to bring it over to the car, get it set up here, and I'm gonna make a little dab there in the middle, just a little spot of soap and water. Oh, we're gonna lay this piece out here. I gotta adjust my cut depth on my blade. I can tell it's a little deep. We got that piece there. We're going to make sure that we don't cut directly on the glass with the blade here. We're going to put down a button, and it's really just a simple button that I am able to put my blade in there, and then I will be gliding on the glass without actually my blade touching or cutting on the glass. So I am basically avoiding the possibility of scratching the glass by doing this little precautionary step, which is a must do. I think I have a video that I just posted up the other day about that. And so something you want to make sure that you're doing so that you don't damage the vehicle, because you can definitely cause damage, score, scratch, put a very noticeable scratch mark in the glass. And then, of course, when the customer sees that, and I've had customers that were super cool that had noticed little things like that and didn't say anything or care and just said, no problem, don't worry. I'm not going to worry about that. And that was cool because, you know, the bottom line is with these windows nowadays is when you're, especially if you're living in a cold climate where there is ice and snow buildup, you can run into where the window's going to get scratched just from using the ice scraper on the glass. So you get the ice scraper, even the plastic ones, you can catch a little sand, a little grit, and scratch the glass with just the simple process of doing the ice scraper. So it's nice to be careful on my end because I can definitely damage the film of the window. So here what we're going to do is we're going to shrink up this film here. Now, back in the day, what you used to have is because the window's curved in this film, obviously you see all this relief here. It's hard to see, but basically it's not laying flat on the glass. It's not the right shape of the glass, so therefore it's not going to lay flat on the glass. So back in the day, what we used to do is we used to do the rear window in multiple pieces, and that would be tricky, and you'd have to seam the pieces. You'd have to basically overlap them, the pieces, on the defroster lines. And then what we would do is we would cut right on the defroster line, and we would then pick out the excess parts and then have a seam that would usually match very well underneath the defroster line, and you would have a window that would look like one piece but wasn't one piece. Obviously, that took a little bit deeper skill set, a little bit more knowledge and practice to perfect, and you would oftentimes see that seam in if the work wasn't perfect. Okay, so what we do now is we do the piece in one consistent, uniform chunk, and the films nowadays are much, much better, and we are able to do them in one piece, shrink the film, make it exactly the right shape, the exact shape, and conform the film right to the shape of the glass so that the film makes intimate contact with the glass. And when you say intimate, how can I describe that? I mean, basically the way, it's basically just going to just lay flat with no gap, no space, no relief, no film popping up off the surface. And that's going to allow for a really nice professional job. So here we almost got this completely done. All right, and so I'm gonna have to, maybe I can use that pluggable extension. That might work. I don't know if that's a USB 3 or not, but that's an idea there. That's a I think that's a 15-foot unit there. So we got I don't know, it's telling me about the new control room, blah, 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 dial up guests, turn up the volume, eject any bad actors. Great. All right, well, that's great. That was something you couldn't do before. So let's test this system out here. So now we got this piece cut and scored and ready. I've got it shaped. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to, and I can turn this a little bit so you can see. I am going to put this up on the glass here. Actually, this is a plastic mobile cut and peel board that I use around the shop. This one is nice to reposition. I can take it over here, over there, wherever I'm working. Let me adjust this camera height just a little bit so you can see that piece there. And what we're doing is we're going to peel the extra. Now I had this on my plotter, so I've already cut this film on my plotter, and what it does is it cuts through the layer of film that's going to go on the car, but it doesn't cut through the cellophane layer, so you don't have to worry about cutting through all the way. It's really an awesome piece of technology that didn't exist when I started doing window tinting, so I actually did cut for many years. I actually cut for way too long. So that's ready. I'm not going to show that again, but we have this here. We have the car ready to go, and I'm going to get this window prepped up. Now this is the same stuff that I do on every car, with the exception of maybe you know, some additional extra cleaning or an extra focus on some contaminants or some sticker adhesive that might be left on the glass by somebody. But all in all, I mean, this is the same process, and the idea here is to completely and religiously and repetitiously do this cleaning process precisely and exactly the same each and every time that I do it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this forward now so you guys can really see what's going on here. I'm going to focus this camera down on this. I got light glare there from the fluorescence up on the ceiling. I'm not going to worry about that. But I got my headphones on so you can hear me in the car there. And I'm going to move these seats forward. And yeah, so this is cool. This is something I want to start doing. I want to start live streaming, maybe even for customers' cars. They can take a peek and check in or see a video of how the process worked on their particular vehicle. So I'm going to center this. And we got this here. I can also, you know, I don't know that I want to do this, but let's just try it once. Let's try and go here. And so now I've actually got this, and I can do a whole bunch of different stuff with this. I could leave that there and show the back window, although I don't really think that it's that great. So maybe I might want to get a, maybe at some point I might want to get another system, tripod or something. But I don't think right now that that's going to benefit me too much. So I'm gonna go with this here. That looks good. I'm gonna get some water here. All right. So we are in business. I am going to check. I am going to check this out real quick. I'm gonna see if I can pull up this. I'm gonna see if I can pull this up. Really? How is that possible? Wow, there's a whole bunch of film pros on here. All right. Um, let's see. I'm gonna try to pull. I'm gonna try to pull up my channel here. Okay. Okay, so I see what's wrong. It's basically Film Pro. All right. And it's like, uh, Interesting. I can't even search for my own channel on here in this method. That is really something interesting. All right, so uh, let me remove this. Okay, it doesn't want to. Not sure why. There we go. I'm really curious here. This is very interesting. I can't find my own channel, so bear with me. Not sure if anybody is watching at all, but I am trying to find my own channel, which I just seen a video. Here we go. All right, so here we go. All right, live now. All right, cool. All right, I'm gonna mute that. I got that up so I can watch and just see. I just wanted to test and see if it's there. It's there, so that's cool. We got any viewers? We got one viewer. Hey viewer, how are you? I don't know who you are offhand, but I'm testing some equipment here. So this may or may not be something that you're excited to watch, but you're welcome to watch. I'll run through a little recap for you. I am tinting the windows here, obviously, on this 2014 Civic, and I am testing out a little YouTube live stream in the process. So I am popping off these plastic panels here in the rear portion of this window. So I got a good amount of room right here to get in there. I got some good space up above. This is a vehicle for the car lot, a used car. I'm not removing the panel here, and you'll see I am pretty successful usually of getting a clean install without removing the the rear deck. So it takes extra time, obviously, and it's a good practice. It's definitely a good practice if I'm working on a customer vehicle and I really want to do a good job. But it can be an extra precautionary measure that I maybe don't always want to utilize, especially if I'm working on, say, something like this, a dealer vehicle where I'm not quite making like a full retail commission, and I kind of want to cut corners, not in a manner where I'm not going to have a good quality job come out, but maybe I'm okay with a little contamination in this window, a couple specks of dust, maybe no one's ever going to see it. And these dealer cars, it's basically I'm in a position where I'm not doing the job for anyone in particular. The car needs to look, sellable. Car needs to look more attractive, and a simple tint job will do the trick. So not sure how the feedback or how the noise is, but that's part of why I'm doing this. I want to see if I need to change something or get some different equipment or anything like that. So now I basically have this window scrubbed up pretty good. I'm going to feel around. I'm going to check and feel and see if I have anything on the glass that I can uh, sense that I might need to focus a little more attention in an area for cleaning. I just smashed my elbow. Well, that hurt, but I'll be all right. So I'm going to wipe around the edges here. And I think you can comment. I'm not sure if you can comment in there. Maybe if you're somebody that I know, you can comment in the chat there, and I can see it and see who you are. I don't know. If you're a stranger, cool. Enjoy. It's all good. So I am gonna go ahead. I see I got something here. Just a little splash of water. I'm trying to look behind this squeegee at all times to see if I might have, if there's something on the glass that needs to be cleaned off. When I pass over it with the squeegee, it's gonna leave a little streak, I can see that it's not leaving a perfect squeegee path. So I'll be able to see that I need to focus a little bit more. And then what I'm going to do here, obviously there's special tools, right? So there's special tools for getting in behind here. And now that I have all this water basically down there, I'm going to just give a quick squeegee underneath there just to remove. I want to get the blade wet a little bit, and then I just want to pass behind this light some. You know, you could end up with a little piece of fuzz or something. And now when I take a peek here, I can further inspect this and just look at the area, and I can see I don't have anything back there, so I'm probably going to get a pretty solid job. Bear with me here. I'm going to grab this film real quick because I need it, and I'm not going to change the camera angle right now. I'm thinking about maybe multicam streaming where people can pick the camera angle and see the different scenes that they might want to see, but that's first I gotta kind of perfect this system here. So I just brought this computer in, and I had this old gaming headset. Not sure I'm going to use that, but I wanted to start doing some live streaming. So like I said, I'm not sure if you guys are able to comment in the chat. I think there's a chat up. Go ahead and say something in there if you can. I'm not sure if I can see the chat. Nah, yeah, it looks like I can. I don't see anybody chatting. Whatever. There's two of you now. Welcome. Whoever that is there. I am just gonna stream a short broadcast showing this rear window here. Now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get rid of that and spray down behind there. And then this might be a little tough to see, but I'm doing what's called a reverse roll. So I sprayed the film and I kept the cellophane on. Now I'm going to touch this corner down here, and I'm going to let this. I got the top corner kind of draped across my arm. The whole idea is to get this in here without touching anything but the glass. That way I won't pick up any contaminants, and we'll end up with a clean, solid installation. I'm going to touch this top up now that I'm able to. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull the cellophane out, and that's going to leave me with the film exposed and ready. I'm going to touch it up in the center, gently get that bottom corner in place. I'm going to slide it over toward the passenger side, slide that bottom corner down into place, slide the top up. I'm going to position this now and check that I have it evenly positioned in all the different angles. Smooth it out a little bit. I'm going to tuck this corner here before I crease it, and I'm going to do a check. I'm going to pull this film up. I don't want the bottom edge of the film to be too far down in the channel there behind the rear deck, because if I get it far enough down there, it's going to be hard to get the water and the installation solution away from the edge, and I might end up in a position where I have water, soapy water, that will continually suck its way back up under the film. And what it'll do is it'll bring dirt along with it, and it'll contaminate my piece. So right now, I feel pretty confident that I got this in place very nicely, and I am going to tack this down. Right here, I'm going to start in the middle, and I'm going to work this piece from the center outward. And I'm going to very gently, in a systemized way, work this toward the edges. And what I want to do is I want to stretch this out into all four corners. So basically, I'm stretching this film in a uniform way so that I'm not going to end up making bubbles for myself in the form of fingers, and I'm not going to crease anything. Like if I, in a real hasty manner, if I go over some of these bubbles that you see, I could end up pinching the film and getting a crease right here or somewhere, and I don't want to do that. So I'm gonna form like I don't know how to really give good wording for it, but I have like a front line here, right? I have like a wall, if you will, and I'm gonna work this evenly all the way toward the edge. But when I get to a certain point here, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna split this and I'm gonna work this into the corners. And this is turning out real nice and clean, so I don't have to worry too much about contamination. It turned out nice. The cleaning job turned out well. I had the deck fairly clean, so I don't have to worry about. All right, so now I got that, right? So now I'm just left with this leftover remaining solution on the bottom. I can attack this with either one of these tools, right? This is a bulldozer. This is a new tool. It's called the Reach. I like to kind of use this sometimes, but it doesn't have quite the same stability as the bulldozer does. So I like to go over it once with this. I'm going to kind of tuck it in the corner there as best I can. And then I'm going to go over this side. I don't find that this new tool removes as much water if I don't have the right pressure and the right angle. And right there, I picked up, you seen that probably, I picked up a little bit of the bottom edge there. Luckily, I didn't crease it or anything, so I think we'll be all right. And that's about the extent of that Reach. I'm kind of done with that. I'm going to go in with the bulldozer and get a final pass that'll really remove a good majority of the film of the water there. Then, as a last stage in this, actually not the last stage, but this is going to be the second effort at removing water. This time I got a different tool out. Tough to see maybe, but this one is a side swiper or a something similar. I think it's a side swiper. And what I'm going to do is, in a much more controlled, much more efficient manner, I'm going to make even passes. I'm putting more pressure on the tool itself, and I don't want to leave even a streak of water behind. I want to get everything out. I want to kind of set myself up for a really successful install where I don't have to worry about leaving a puddle or a pool of water under the film that's going to, dry and turn into a bubble. We don't need bubbles. Nobody likes them. I don't know why. Nobody seems to want bubbles. All right, so we're going to work this into the corner there. We're going to make a final pass at the bottom there. I'm putting more pressure. You can probably tell in my voice that I'm applying quite a bit of pressure there. We lost one viewer. We still got one viewer. I don't know if you're the same guy, but like I said, I'm just doing a little test run here. So appreciate the interest. At least it feels like I'm talking to somebody, right? I'm just cleaning up now. I'm going to finalize this, and I got one important step left. Basically, what's happening here is the water that went down in the bottom there, right? There's a channel down there, and it's going to channel out and go toward the side and drain out the bottom. And no big deal, a little moisture in there, it's going to dry out. Same thing happens, when you drive around in the rain, for one example. And inside here, I've just detailed this deck for free. So if you took your car in for detailing, they would do the same thing. They would spray it down with chemicals and wipe it all down very nicely. And so really there's no harm, no foul. I've done the same thing. Now this deck, and actually I'm not trying to brag, but it's far more clean than it was when I picked it up. And the work that the detailers at the car dealership did wasn't that spectacular. So now I've left this deck in a much cleaner, much more new car-ish type of condition. And you know, people like that when they're shopping for a vehicle, they don't want to get in here and see a bunch of dust and hair and dog hair and stuff or whatever might be in the back deck. So it's win-win. I just cleaned the deck. Now what I'm doing here is I'm just making a final pass around. I'm running this pink paper towel in several different tools. I'm gonna run that around the edges and suck out any remaining moisture that might be close to the edge of the film. I don't want nothing to to come back underneath the film, and it will. It's very common because there's a sort of a vacuum effect with the window film itself. It like wants to pop off the glass and kind of reclaim its old shape. And when it does that, if there's moisture there, it'll help it to do that, and also the moisture will work its way under the film. And so then I can bring in dirt, I can reintroduce contaminants, and be in a position where I could even have to redo the window. So that last step is important. And then there's one other thing that I like to do. I'm going to share that with you before I sign off here. And I might do another test in a little bit. I'm going to back this up some. All right, so let's see here. I'm going to turn that a little bit. Okay, cool. So now I have one more precautionary measure that I'm going to do just to make sure that these corners, because there is more moisture that's sitting down in here, and I've had before where these corners are susceptible to sucking in a little moisture and lifting. So I'm gonna go ahead and heat this. Not too much, but I'm gonna heat it, and I'm gonna get in there and I'm gonna make sure that this is laid down nicely and that there's no more moisture that can come in. I had my squeegee upside down. I don't want to go too long because I can end up making smear marks here because there's air in that line there. So that's about it. I can tell that it's warm. My squeegee blade is sticking at a certain amount, and I don't want to mess with it more. Just give it a little heat. I just want to tack these corners down. Basically, I'm pre-drying these corners here. And so that's about it. That's about it. It turned out real nice. It's clean. Definitely there's a little moisture behind there that'll dry. And that's the quick method for installing the rear window without removing that rear deck. I do that quite often on units that are for sale for the dealership. So that's it. That's the end of the little test. Appreciate it. Comment on the video there maybe if you're somebody I know. I appreciate you checking it out. I'm going to end this broadcast here. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, you could do that. Leave a message on the chat, and maybe I might share another channel with you depending on who you are. I got something else up my sleeve, so we will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.